This is Steel News Live with Gretchen Lasso.
Happy Cyber Monday, Steel.
We're going to keep today short and sweet so you can get some online shopping done.
Because it's that time already.
I don't know, Gretchen, have you?
Yes, I have, but I probably shouldn't have.
Why?
Because I told people I was going to participate in No Shame November and I didn't. Oh well.
Broke your promise.
You can tell we are super pumped for today's game.
We're ready to support the football team tonight.
That's not the only thing we support. We also support student and faculty members going above and beyond. We'll have more of the band at the end of the show. Yesterday, Comet Man was invited to Fox 8 to... Hey seniors, the December ACT is the last time you can take the test before college transcripts are due. If you still need to take it, the deadline to sign up without late fees is today. I'm going to start off with girls cross country. The junior varsity girls cross country team is walking with their heads held high after they finished first in the varsity race at the New London Invitational on Saturday.
Okay. Show me how you start the news.
I already said okay, Sarah, so let's just get on with the news. I'm Gretchen Lasso.
And I'm Sarah Bannock. Are you ready for some football?
For a way to volunteer, Special Olympics is in need of helpers to coach swimming. Practices start this Sunday from 4 to 5 at Mercy Rec Center. You don't have to be on the swim team or a swimmer at all. It's just a good way to have fun and volunteer all in one. Continuing on with soccer, the JV girls soccer team is feeling slightly better than the varsity team. Thanks, Mr. Todd. More on solving problems. Let's talk about math. Attention all students in Mrs. Durdak's third period geometry. You will be in room 103 today. Older generations believe we are not aware of what is going on around us in the world, and we tend to get aggravated with that. Well, I went around the school to see if older generations are right and if we are really politically unaware. First, I asked students if they knew who the governor of Ohio is, and the results were very surprising.
I have no idea. Aren't there two? No. I don't know. I should know. I don't know.
I'm not good with politics.
No.
I don't know either.
No.
Most people did not know John Kasich is the governor.
John Kasich.
John Kasich.
John Kasich.
Kasich.
Maybe students would know who the vice president is. I mean, he is in the news all the time.
I don't know history.
Bush.
Mitt Romney.
I forgot the vice president's name. What's the vice president's name?
I don't know.
No.
No.
I don't know.
Wow, I thought wrong. Some people did know that the vice president is Joe Biden, but most did not.
Joe Biden.
It is Joe Biden.
Isn't it Joe Biden?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden? Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Okay.
Wow, okay. Obviously, students didn't know about important political figures, but they would have to know pop culture, wouldn't they?
Kim Kardashian.
Kim Kardashian.
Courtney.
Chloe.
Kardashian. Football.
Football?
Football.
Harry
Styles.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. Zayn.
She got that one.
Zayn Malik.
No one got any pop culture questions wrong. This proved the older generation's correct. We don't know what we should and are politically unaware. We should start paying more attention to things that matter. This is Gretchen Lasso for Steel News Live. You see these girls running, but it's not through the 6 with their woes. They are running through the 440 with 42 of their best friends. Each one of these 42 girls on the high school cross-country team has a different reason why they run.
I run because it's a lot of hard work, but it's really rewarding when you're done. I run because it's really rewarding when you cross the finish line and you make your PR, and it's a great way to meet new people.
I run because I like to eat. I run because I love surrounding myself with amazing people and coaches.
I run because I love my teammates and I love the sport.
I run because I like Chinese food. I run because I feel like I'm part of something bigger than myself.
My favorite thing about running cross country is when you cross the finish line and you've run your best time and you know that you did something that you couldn't have even done last week.
Being able to do something that could not have been done last week is very rewarding, but it does not come without a lot of practice.
We practice 6 days a week, including Saturdays if we're not already racing.
We have long run days, which are typically like an hour to hour and a half, depending on what level you are. Then we also have easy run days to recover, intermediate run days, and then we also have hill workout days and other workout days.
All of the training they do goes into helping them become better.
And our goal's always been to help somebody to be better today than they were yesterday and better tomorrow than they were today.
They don't just practice for the race, they practice to get better. But that doesn't mean they don't try to do well at all of the races.
We work really hard at practice during the week so that we can improve for our races and PR. Everybody has a bad race now and then, but it really doesn't define you. So it's really your work ethic that you put in leading up to the race, and there can be good aspects of the race even if you have a bad time.
Having a bad race is not terrible though. A race
Proves how much I've done, but at the same time, I can always do better.
Last year the team won the SWC championship, and this year they are currently second in the SWC. They want this tradition to be upheld, so they mentor the junior high cross country team by practicing with them and even by writing them personalized letters.
We practice with the junior high girls to encourage them to run with us still, and we write them letters.
They realize that they're a part of something bigger, part of something larger, and a chance to have the ability to run with a lot of people, and the chance to be a part of something has been very, very successful here over the years.
The junior high students really appreciate the welcoming behavior the high school girls demonstrate.
When the high school team wrote us letters and we got them at the banquet, it really meant a lot because it really encouraged all of us to participate in high school cross country, and now we're all really close and now we're a great family.
And this family bond will not be broken anytime soon. From a great coach who truly cares about the girls to the girls who strive to do better, they will continue to grow together.
Always someone who's got something new, someone who's improving, someone that you encourage. And, for me, a lot of it has been giving back to kids the same gift that I was given as a high school and college athlete.
So the next time you see them running, give them a little bit more credit. And remember that their sport is your sport's punishment. This is Gretchen Lasso for Steel News Live. If you saw these pictures of Savannah Starkey and her boyfriend Lee without knowing any information about them, you would probably assume that they are like any other couple, but they aren't.
It took us 2.5 years, but we finally met each other in an airport.
A couple that has known each other for 2.5 years but has just recently met is not very common, and you might be wondering how they met.
We met on Omegle. Usually you find really creepy, weird people there, but it just worked out this time.
Her family and friends were a little worried about her decision to talk to a stranger online.
I was skeptical, not sure about it. It was hard to accept at first.
Although Savannah's friends and family were becoming more comfortable with the relationship, Savannah and Lee had to worry about how they would maintain a long-distance relationship.
You have to put a lot of effort into the relationship, and you have to trust each other a lot and just be honest all the time. You have to communicate a lot more than what you normally would because you can't physically be there with them.
All of the work they put into the relationship was worth it when Lee came from England to finally meet Savannah.
When we first met, I was waiting at the bottom of the escalator with my mom, and my face was so red and I had so many butterflies. And then when he finally came down the escalator, I just ran up to him and hugged him.
Lee stayed with Savannah's family for 2 weeks over the summer, and it was an experience that will not be beat.
The best 2 weeks I've ever had, and it was just really nice to be able to hold his hand and go places with him and finally third wheel all my friends.
However, all good things must come to an end.
When he finally left, I went back home and I cried the rest of the night until I fell asleep. And then it was hard for the rest of the week. But after a while, I got back into the routine of what we had been doing. But it's a little harder now because I actually know what it's like to be with him, and that's all I want to do now.
Savannah will get to be with Lee again when she goes to England over the summer. Lee makes Savannah the happiest she has ever been. Savannah and Lee's story shows you that when you find something that you know is true, don't let it go. This is Gretchen Lasso for Steel News Live.
I really miss him a lot, and I feel like there's a part of me missing now that he went home, because I feel like he took part of me with him and I just can't wait to see him again.
It's a Friday night in Amherst. Some students are at sporting events, some are at home with family, some are hanging out with friends, and others are drinking alcohol. That's an undeniable fact. Just how serious is underage drinking in Amherst? A Student News Live survey of 395 students reveals that 77% have consumed alcohol, so we wanted to get to the source. That's why we spent a Friday night riding along with the Amherst Police Department as they conducted alcohol compliance checks to see how easy it is for teenagers to purchase alcohol in Amherst. We'll show you what we observed a little later. For now, let's look at the numbers. 68% of freshmen say they have consumed alcohol and 21% have been intoxicated, and the numbers climb throughout each grade. 82% of sophomores say they have consumed alcohol and nearly a quarter have been intoxicated. The junior survey drinks slightly more than the sophomores, and again the numbers escalate as 88% of seniors say they have consumed alcohol and 54% admit they have been intoxicated. In all, of the 395 students surveyed, 77% have consumed alcohol and 45% say they have been intoxicated. We shared these survey results with experts who specialize in underage drinking prevention.
1,200 kids in that school. So what you're saying is about 500 of them reported that they had been intoxicated. And you said 75%? 75% reported they had drank. That's pretty high.
The results of that, with the 40 some odd percent being intoxicated, is shocking to me. I find that pretty high.
Our experts anticipate that some of the respondents were dishonest and the results may be slightly inaccurate, but they were still alarmed by the high percentages, and so were we. If so many students are drinking alcohol, it means they have to be getting it from somewhere, and the opportunities are everywhere.
I would say difficult is right out the window. Accessibility becomes easier and easier as time progresses. You can get alcohol from the cabinet in the house. You can get it from the refrigerator out in the garage.
We find that kids can get alcohol through older siblings, adults. It's available.
According to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, in 2015, 1 in 6 teens binge drink, yet only 1 in 100 parents know his or her child does. Another easy route is through their older friends.
Seniors usually hang around and or know more people who are 21, so they can get it easier.
Or if there's a teenager who works at a liquor store, that's bad news all the way around. For them to even hire somebody at 18, because 18-year-olds have 17 and 16-year-old friends still.
And that temptation is why the Amherst Police Department and the STOP Task Force conduct quarterly alcohol compliance checks.
It's a check of all the local businesses that sell alcohol and to see if they're in compliance with the state standards, state-mandated standards of checking IDs.
Carry your ID with you.
Saying is if you look like you're 35 or under, they should ID. So we're making sure that they're asking for IDs and that they're actually checking them.
Sergeant Murphy invited us to ride along with members of the Amherst Police Department on a Friday night as they underwent an alcohol compliance check. Here's how it works. The confidential informants, also known as a CI, are instructed to follow the same set of rules for every procedure. The CIs are required to appear as they would on an everyday basis. They are not supposed to wear clothing that makes them look older. The police don't want to persuade the clerk's judgment. No fake IDs are used, and if a clerk asks for the ID, the CI honestly states that they don't have one. If the clerk asks how old they are, the CI must give their actual birthday, thus admitting to being underage.
Because we're not trying to trick anybody. The goal is not to trick anybody. The goal is to actually try to have 18, 19-year-old people try to buy alcohol. I mean, that's the whole point of the operation.
Although the intent is not to trick the sales clerk, the CIs are equipped with hidden cameras and wires to record evidence of the transaction.
This is one of the hidden cameras that the police station gives the CIs to use when they go undercover in stores. Why do they use it? So that way they can gather as much information in case the police need to cite the store.
Clerks who sell alcohol to the CI are issued a citation for sales to underage persons and must appear in court. A report is also sent to the state and the business's alcohol license is cited. But there's a positive side of the alcohol compliance checks as well. The police send congratulatory letters and certificates to local businesses who follow the law, and the list of businesses who comply are released to the media.
I feel since we've been doing them 2-3 times, sometimes 4 times a year, is actually getting these businesses made aware that they have to have these standards, they have to check these IDs.
We just got back from riding along with the Amherst Police Department, and one store sold to the CI tonight, so the store and the cashier are both getting cited.
In all, we went to 16 places and only one sold to an underage informant. So overall, the stores in Amherst are doing a pretty good job at what they're supposed to be doing.
We got this great opportunity given to us by the Amherst Police Department to go on a ride along with them tonight, and it really shows us that they are doing all they can to limit the accessibility of alcohol for underage and minors in the community.
No matter how teens obtain alcohol, there are multiple consequences. Depending on what the offense is and where it occurs, it could have an impact at school.
When a student receives consequences at school for an item, specifically if it's alcohol related, a student may be suspended up to 10 days, and a recommendation for expulsion may occur as well by the building principal.
Our code of conduct indicates that there are repercussions. It has to do with your first offense has to do with missing a certain percentage of your season. Your second offense would be half of the season, and then the third offense would be dismissal from that sport for the remainder of the school year.
Other alcohol-related offenses are outside of the school's jurisdiction, and the offender will have to deal with local law enforcement.
You will go to jail. You will have to post a bond in order for you to get out of jail.
Penalties for that are misdemeanor first degree, which is a punishable. The judge can assign a punishment up to 6 months in jail or a $1,000 fine, depending on your prior history and the offense itself.
Obviously, if you are underage and you drink, you can get in trouble. But what about the parents who supply the alcohol? In our survey of nearly 400 students, of those who say they drink, 1 in 4 list their family as the #1 supplier. A recent study by the Drug-Free Action Alliance found that 29% of teens know of parents who host teen parties, and 25% of those teens say they have attended one of those parties in the past 2 months. Yes, parents who host lose the most.
If they're hosting the parties, they can be arrested, cited for sales to underage persons, which entails within that ordinance or revised code area, it talks about if you have a place for them to sit and have a party and you know that they're having that party, you can be held accountable. So the parent doesn't even, if they know that there's a party going on, they don't have to be partaking or even provide the alcohol. If they're providing the place to have that party, the parent can be held responsible.
Responsibility not only falls on the parents during the party, but the legal responsibility even extends to when the party is over.
Parents can be fined. Parents can be jailed. There are lots of implications that occur if a person leaves the party while drunk or in an accident. The parent is held responsible and liable for that accident. If the person, for some unfortunate reason, is intoxicated and suffers some kind of serious injury, not only are the parents criminally liable, but they're also could be the subject of a civil lawsuit.
According to the National Institute of Health, underage drinking is a factor in nearly half of all teen automobile crashes and 60% of all youth suicides. That's why services like the STOP Task Force in Lorain County and LACADA, the Lorain County Alcohol and Drug Abuse Services, are proactive and believe that prevention first starts with education. By concentrating on environmental factors like community norms, access and availability, media messages, and policy and enforcement.
And our charge is specifically as it relates around underage alcohol consumption. So we do environmental things. We try to not just affect individuals. We're not a treatment organization. We focus on prevention strategies. And one of those there are a series of those that are environmental, which really has to do with changing the atmosphere.
We deal with teenagers teaching educational classes throughout the school day across the county, as well as we do a juvenile diversion class on Thursday nights through the juvenile court system, in which we help teenagers who have been caught at school with some kind of illicit drug or some kind of inappropriate behavior involving some drugs and alcohol.
Teens and alcohol, a relationship that will always exist. In the past few years, underage drinking has been flying under the radar compared to the more publicized legalization of marijuana, prescription drug abuse, and the heroin epidemic. Yet alcohol is still the #1 drug choice for teenagers and is the biggest factor in the 3 leading causes of death amongst teens: car crashes, homicides, and suicides. The decision is yours. Why take the chance of becoming another number on a stat sheet? This is Gretchen Lasso for Stu News Live.